freedom,
family,
world unity.
All these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
Real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing High Consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here, we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all, and welcome back
To another episode of
High Consciousness.
I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria,
and we are High Consciousness.
Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. And if you're new here, welcome. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, or hit that follow button and that little, bell on the side there that lets you know whenever we have
new videos
uploaded or shorts or anything that we are going to be bringing to you guys here shortly. We are working really hard learning how to do all this stuff, so eventually we'll bring those shorts out to you. Anyway, big announcement today. Happy 4th of July, y'all!
Yeah, it's the 4th!
It's the 4th! America's birthday!
Yep!
Woo!
Oh, man. It's a big one.
It is a big one.
Big year, big year, and a big day.
Yeah, big year, election year. Oof, but we're not going to talk about that. But we are going to talk about the great seals of our country. That is today's topic in our today's episode with our chapter that our lovely, wonderful Nicholas will be reading for us today.
Yep. And our lovely Victoria is going to give us a nice chapter review on our last chapter that we read.
So, our last chapter was kind of a doozy because it kind of went into the land of the unknown.
And a little bit of the supernatural.
And the supernatural. Mm-hmm. Like, so much so that the entire title of the chapter was The Unknown, who swayed the signers, which
of our
the signers is the signers of the Declaration of Independence on today, 250 some odd years ago. So, that's why that is so significant, which honestly, I kind of wish that we did that chapter on today, but hey, why not, do the topic on America's Great Seals instead? A little bit of true American history, where do our seals come from and all that good stuff will be great to review upon today.
And the other question is, what is the bird on our emblem? Is it an eagle or is it a phoenix? Or, from what Benjamin Franklin says, is it a wild turkey?
Is it a turkey?
Oh, well, apparently Benjamin Franklin was very upset that the symbol seal was not a turkey, a wild turkey, but an eagle.
You mean not an eagle, but a turkey?
No.
You said Benjamin Franklin said that he thought it was an eagle, not a turkey.
No, it should be a turkey and not an eagle. And yes, I messed up on that. My bad, y'all. But yes, what I meant to say was that he was very mad and frustrated when he saw the seal being an eagle than it being a turkey.
but more into that later in the episode. So a little recap. So the unknown that swayed our signers of the Declaration of Independence today, 200 and some odd years ago. What was interesting about that is that it was just like this unknown man, and this was a locked and guarded room. Now, supposedly, there was a balcony. Now, whether or not that balcony was open, that information is not present, and we haven't been able to find anything in the background before today's episode.
To really dig
in on it and see. Like, there's nothing there to really tell whether the balcony was wide open or whether it was, locked and guarded just like the front doors of the room. But however this person got in there, they came in and were unseen and not even noticed among our signers of our Declaration of Independence up until they started to speak. And they spoke with such, like, divine, vigorous authority that, like, it was just like as if the word of God was in the room, according to the signers and according to Manly P. Hall, who got this information from a publisher of a book that is very hard to get your hands on these days. And I'll admit, I did not go back and look at that. I kind of forgot. So maybe next episode, I'll be able to go and drop that for you. But it was very interesting. So this person, like, got up, they stood up, they all, like, all the men in the room marveled at this person and listened to them as they spoke, and then they watched him fall back into the chair. Now, there is no details mentioned of what this person looked like, so again, it's like just all around unknown. They don't know who he was, they don't know how he got in there, and
as soon as they all signed it and wanted to congratulate the man was not there. It was as if he never sat in that seat, as if no one sat in that seat.
Like a ghost, just gone.
And I'm actually about to pull the book right here from the quote. So the actual quote stance of what the man said for those of us who missed what he said.
So I believe
right here.
Yeah,
it's right here.
It starts right here.
Now this is what according to Jefferson what he saw.
According to Jefferson.
According to Jefferson, it was late in the afternoon before the delegates gathered their courage to the sticking point. The talk was about axes, scaffolds, and the gibbet, when suddenly a strong, bold voice sounded. Gibbet? They may stretch our necks on all the gibbets in the land. They may turn every rock into a scaffold, every tree into a gallows, every home into a grave, and yet the words of that parchment can never die. They may pour our blood on 1,000 scaffolds, and yet from every drop that dies the axe, a new champion of freedom will spring into birth. The British king may blot out the stars of God from the sky, but he cannot blot out his words written on that parchment there. The works of God may perish, but his words never. The words of this declaration will live in the world long after our bones are dust. To the mechanic in his workshop, they will speak hope. To the slaves in the mines, freedom. But to the coward kings, these words will speak in tones of warning. They cannot choose but hear. Sign that parchment. Sign. If the next moment the gibbet rope is around your neck, sign. If the next minute this hall rings with the clash of falling axes, sign. By all your hopes in life or death, as men, as husbands, as fathers, brothers, sign your names to that parchment, or be accursed forever. Sign, and not only for yourselves, but for all ages. For that parchment will be the textbook of freedom, the Bible of the rights of men forever. Nay, do not start and whisper with surprise. It is truth. Your own hearts witness it. God proclaims it. Look at this strange band of exiles and outcasts, suddenly transformed into a people, a handful of men, weak in arms, but mighty in God-like faith. Nay, look at your recent achievements, your Bunker Hill, your Lexington, and then tell me, if you can, that God has not given America to be free. It is not given to our poor human intellect to climb to the skies and to pierce the counsel of the Almighty One. But methinks I stand among the awful clouds which veils the brightness of Jehovah's throne. Methinks I see the recording angel come trembling up to the throne and speak his dread message. Father, the old world is baptized in blood. Father, look with one glance of thine eternal eye, and behold evermore that terrible sight. Man trundling, trodden beneath the oppressor's feet. Nations lost in blood, murder, and superstition, walking hand in hand over the graves of the victims, and not a single voice of hope to men. He stands there, the angel, trembling with the record of human guilt. But hark! The voice of God speaks from out the awful cloud. Let there be light again. Tell my people, the poor and oppressed, to go out from the old world, from oppression and blood, and build my altar in the new. As I live, my friends, I believe that to be his voice. Yes, were my soul trembling of the verge of eternity, where this hand freezing in death, where this voice choking in the last struggle, I was still, with the last impulse of that soul, with the last wave of that hand, with the last gasp of that voice, implore you to remember this truth. God has given America to be free. Yes, as I sink into the gloomy shadows of the grave, with my last faint to whisper, I will beg you to sign that parchment for the sake of those millions whose very breath is now hushed in intense expectation as they look up to you for the awful words, "You are free." Then the unknown speaker fell exhausted in his seat.
And what they mean by awful, so I did do a little digging, and what they meant by awful back in those days is kind of like when you say awesome, it was like to say those words that give you that feeling of full of awe. So that's what he means by awful. When they look to you for that awful phrase, meaning
that awe-inspiring phrase, "You are free."
That inspiring phrase that you are free. That's Old English speak.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna continue reading, and then then after reading this last little section right here, we'll get to our chapter.
Yeah, we'll get to the real stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now the unknown speaker fell exhausted into his seat. The delegates, carried away by his enthusiasm, rushed forward. John Hancock scarcely had the time to pen his bold signature before the quill was grasped by another. It was done. The delegates turned to express his gratitude to the unknown speaker for his eloquent words. He was not there.
Gone.
Who was this strange man who seemed to speak with a divine authority? Those solemn words of courage to the doubters and sealed the destiny of the new nation. Unfortunately, no one knows. His name is not recorded. None of those present knew him, or if they did, not one acknowledged the acquaintance. How he had entered the locked and guarded room is not told, nor is there any record of the manner of his departure. No one claimed to have seen him before, and there's no mentioning of him after this single episode. Only this imperishable speech bars witness to his appearance.
That's it. And that's some pretty incredible stuff. And that was spoken today, 250 some odd years ago.
And he speaks of the rights of men, although Thomas Paine's book, by that name, was not published until 13 years later.
That magical number that rules my life, 13.
So, if that doesn't give you a little inspiration about why we are America, why to be proud to be American, and to know that America is free. It may not be by your religious standpoint, but just know it's free by some divine spirit.
Yeah, by some kind of divine spirit. Now, whether that is, the Christian God, or it's the great spirit of the Native Americans, or it's the great spirit of man in general, we don't know.
But we do know
this was a pretty significant turning point that literally made all the signers of our Declaration of Independence on this day, today, made them rush to sign it, so as if their lives are going to be taken in the very next moment if they didn't. That is some pretty powerful, amazing stuff. Like I say, I am completely spiritual. I don't believe in one thing or another. all of my spiritual experiences have been a mixed melting pot of a whole lot of things, like, gods and goddesses and other kinds of entities or beings that I've come across. Like, I have seen angels, I've come across demons, and Jesus visited me last year, so I don't know quite what to believe, but there is some kind of greater divine authority and spirit that is in charge here, and it's obviously making itself known in whatever way possible, like in today's time and back then, today, 250 years ago.
Now, we shall continue now, I should say, with that.
That's all for our recap of the last chapter and last episode.
And a little fact check on ourselves. On
yeah.
our last episode, we talked about the
Mexican-Spanish War. It was a 2-year war.
Not a 5-day war, and they were fighting.
That was on him.
That was on me, and I accepted. I'm sorry. Yep. I'm not a historian, but that's what I'm reading to learn. So.
Yeah, like we said, we don't know any of the better more than you guys. We are just trying to figure this stuff out at the same time you are.
And guess what they were fighting over in the Mexican War?
What?
Texas.
See, I told you, it was on American soil.
Fighting over Texas. Well, the thing about it is, I was actually doing a little bit of research, and it's like, Mexico didn't see Texas, didn't recognize Texas as a United States constitutional state, and the United States was like...
Or territory,
the United States like, yeah, that's our territory, we have citizens living there, and you keep patronizing them, and the Mexican army said, no, you keep patronizing us. So, I still gotta read up on it, but it's still like a lot of...
But basically, the little gist that we got out of it, like what it boiled down to, was that with Texas being so large, and back in the day, they didn't really know just how big Texas was. So, literally, the whole fight was over Texas being way too darn big. Everything's literally bigger in Texas, even back in those days. Texas was the biggest thing since well, sliced bread wasn't quite invented yet, now was it?
No, it wasn't. But anyway, chapter 18. That was
a stupid joke, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You gotta fight. Pleasure somewhere or another, right?
That was a stupid joke. That was really stupid.
The symbols of the Great Seal of the U.S. Is the American eagle actually a phoenix? Selection of the fabulous bird of the ancients seems to have been the intention of the designer of our nation's Great Seal. The phoenix is a symbol of the reborn in wisdom. The design on the reverse of the Great Seal is even more definitely related to the order of the quest. The pyramid in the all-seeing eye represents the universal house, surmounted by the radiant emblem of the great architect of the universe. These three symbols in combination is more than chance or coincidence. And then I'm going to flip this page over here so you can see the three symbols. Yep, as you can see, on the bottom left, that's a phoenix, and then you can see on the right, you can actually tell that's the eagle. But, that's, and then the...
Yeah.
Other side, baby.
The eagle's right there, and the phoenix is this one here.
Mm-hmm. So, we're going to continue.
But apparently these seals were not by coincidence. What?
Or chance.
What?
It's more than chance or coincidence.
Okay, chance back in those days was just the shorthand word for coincidence, okay? Like, let's just get that one clear.
When the time came to select an appropriate emblem for the Great Seal of the United States of America, several designs were submitted. These are described by Gillard Hunt in the History of the Seal of the United States, published in Washington, D.C. in 1909. Most of the designs originally submitted had the phoenix bird on its nest of flames as the central motif. One of the designs now familiar to us was finally selected, and Benjamin Franklin was asked for his opinion of the choice.
So this is the part about Franklin.
Franklin gave his immediate approval, observing naively that it was very appropriate to select the wild turkey as the symbol of the new country. The turkey was a bird of admirable quality, hard-working and industrious.
And it would make sense that, Christopher Columbus, the whole, the first Thanksgiving and the turkey, and that's why we eat the turkey every Thanksgiving, so, honestly, I'm a little with Ben Franklin there. That would have made a lot more sense, seeing how, according to Nostradamus, we are the land that keeps the Thursday, or we are the land that gives thanks on Thursday, whatever he said it was. So, gobble gobble. That would have actually made sense. So why the eagle instead, I wonder?
The turkey was a bird of admired quality, hard-working and industrious.
And delicious.
And of good moral character. And a fowl also with a marked advertising for the color red.
No, aversion
For the color red. At that time, unpopular among the colonists.
Wait, what? A fowl also with
a fowl also
with a marked aversion for the color red. So
red coats, babe. Red coat.
You need to say no mo.
Yeah.
No mo.
That's why it was unpopular among the colonists.
The British are coming. The British are coming. The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming.
Yeah, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
When it was explained to Frank... It's not even Turkey. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
I'm sorry.
When it was explained to Franklin that the bird on the sea... Now you got a son going here now.
You got the dog going now.
Yeah. As we were trying to tell the dogs to be good, and now you made him mad. Tisk, tisk. Anyway, when it was explained to Franklin that the bird on the seal was intended to represent an eagle, he was bitterly disappointed, and he insisted that the drawing did not look like an eagle to him. And furthermore, an eagle was a bird of prey with few of the respectable qualities of the wild turkey. Oh yeah, Benjamin was hot. He was mad.
He was hopping back.
It has been said that the designer had drawn a phoenix. Its selection would of course have been appropriate. Among the ancients, a fabulous bird called the phoenix is described by early writers such as Clement,
Herodotus, and Pliny.
Pliny. In size and shape, it resembles the eagle, but with certain differences. The body of the phoenix is covered with glossy purple feathers, and the plumes in its tail are alternately blue and red. The head of the bird is light in color, and about its neck is a circlet of gold plumage.
Wait, what? So, if I heard that right, then the phoenix is like a mix of orange, purple, blue, and red?
Mm-hmm. With gold. With a gold circle plummet around his neck.
A gold plume around his
Plumage.
neck. Hold up, I got it. We're going into the Matrix for this one.
The head of the bird is light. At the back of his head, the phoenix has a crest of feathers of brilliant color.
I'm sorry. I made our playlist public for y'all so that with Secret Destiny of America, you can just hit the playlist and go through all the chapters all at once, and YouTube doesn't do that whole bouncing around with the algorithm thing. Anyway, Phoenix. Wait, yeah, Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Arizona.
Just bird. Image.
Let's go to images.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Well, all these except this one. So this one would be...
The one that's pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate to the one that we see in our book here.
Oh, let's see.
Or the one that our book
the body is
describing.
With glossy purple feathers.
And that's pretty. That's really, really pretty.
And the plumes in its tail are alternate blue and red. You can't see the tail.
You can't see the tail, but...
The head of the bird is a light in color. And the neck has a circlet of gold plumage.
Well, I I guess that's a little close. It's a paint by number thing, but... Because I really want to get a really good idea what it's supposed to look like. I guess this would be it. Yeah, that's the closest thing we can get right there. So...
As the back with the purple, glossy purple feathers, and the plumes in the stills are alternately blue and red.
Yeah, it's alternately blue and red. What?
And the head of the bird is light in color. And then it has a gold...
It has gold plumage around its neck, right?
Yeah, circle type.
It's supposed to be right here. But, I mean, that's pretty much as close as we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
That's really beautiful. If that's what a phoenix really looks like, that's really,
at the
really
back of his
pretty.
head, the phoenix has a crest of feathers of brilliant colors. Which...
it kind of does.
Which, that one looks like it's cropped out, it looks like.
Yeah, it's cropped a bit, and you can tell.
Yeah, so that probably
has a lot more detail to it than what we're actually seeing here. I wonder.
No, wait, go back up. How about that one? Oh, they didn't have a full view on it. Or that one below it.
Which one?
This one.
That one? No.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think we're gonna get, unless we keep scrolling down. Unless we keep scrolling.
I think that's probably like that one of those last ones we saw up here. I think was probably gonna be the closest that we're gonna get.
That or go down one more. That or that one.
God, phoenixes are really pretty, dude. Like, I always thought they were just like a firebird. But anyway, that's enough for that adventure.
Continue on with the reading.
Continuing along with our reading. And we're back from the Matrix.
Only one of these birds was supposed to live at a time, with its home in the distant parts of Arabia, in a nest of frankincense.
Frankincense.
And
where?
Yeah, right here.
Where are you at? Yeah, frankincense.
And myrrh. Myrrh.
Frankincense and myrrh. Ooh, those are two things that one of the two of the wise men that went to see Jesus upon his birth. Those are two things that they brought to Jesus.
The phoenix, it was said, lives for 500 years, and at its death, its body opens up, and the newborn phoenix emerges. Because of this symbolism, the phoenix is generally regarded as representing immortality and resurrection. All symbols have their origin in something tangible, and the phoenix is one sign of the secret orders of the ancient world and of the initiate. Of the initiate of those orders. For it was common to refer to one who had been accepted into the temple as a man twice born or reborn. Wisdom confers a new life, and those who become wise are born again.
Hence why Hermes, the thrice born. Ooh, okay.
The phoenix symbol is important in another way, as an emblem among nearly all civilized nations of royalty, power, superiority, and immortality. The phoenix of China is identical in meaning with the phoenix of Egypt, and the phoenix of Greeks is the same as the thunderbird of the American Indians.
Or Native Americans.
As the thunderbird of the Native Americans.
Okay, so let's pause right there just for a sec.
Well, that just proves to you that our Greek mythos followers, the explorers that came to America gave back their myths, probably told the same stories to the Native Americans there, and that's where the Native Americans said, "Oh yeah, we have the same thing. It's called a thunderbird here, though," and
maybe so, or maybe it's one and the same.
Maybe.
And maybe, the spirit of the phoenix, which, is the great thunderbird in the Native Americans, like, what if that's the great spirit that is embodied in our nation?
The phoenix, which is what makes sense, therefore it's the eagle constellation could really represent the phoenix constellation. If there is such a thing, anyway.
Because I think the Thunderbird constellation is over America, if I'm correct. Which I'm not sure if I am, so...
Might want to look that up.
Just for a second. We're going to go back into the Matrix.
We're just going to look it up real quick, because it's better than us trying to get in trouble for not having misinformation.
Okay. What was it again?
Thunderbird constellation? So you better look up. Is there a constellation?
I think there is.
I mean, there's an eagle constellation.
Constellation. There we go.
As a feather containing 6 stars. Each star represents a month, and can even be identified with the... I'm pretty sure he's going to say the eagle.
Us. So I am right. It's right over North America, which I bet.
Where do you see that? Where do you see the constellation at?
What constellation?
Where do you see that at?
Okay, so when we typed in the previous one, the Thunderbird constellation, it said that it refers to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
And that it's 6 stars that are in the sky, and it described what it looked like. So that's Native
eagle.
Americans. That's the Thunderbird. So what constellation is
it's in America?
Above America? So world map, star positions, and first major the constellation that's in. Okay. Well, that doesn't help. It just tells me what a constellation is. Wait a minute. Don't we have that in here? Wasn't that one of the chapters that I read?
Yeah, it literally says, because it talks about the serpent. It's
The serpent is over South America.
Yeah, which is Mexico. And Latin America. Here we go.
Was it the Ancient League of Nations?
Sorry, y'all. Keep looking up on the internet.
Well, no, we're going to find it in this book because the internet's not giving me what I want. You see? The constellation of the eagle spreads its wings across the North American continent.
Here.
There it is. So, it won't give me the constellation of the eagle. Okay, so let's dive back into the Matrix real quick.
And say where does the constellation of the eagle? That's what I would look up.
Right now, it's on top of the UK.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Cute.
Okay,
you're cute.
Maybe it's not above which country. Maybe it represents which country that I should put in there. It won't. What?
Y'all are cute, you know that?
What in the world?
Internet, you're cute. Because you're going based off real time.
Wow, it won't... It's supposed to... So, okay. Let's see. Constellation of the Thunderbird. How about that?
That is going to take you back to mythology.
And it takes us right back to the United States. Look! Thunderbird, the constellation of Thunderbird represents which country? Ours. So, if it's supposed to be the eagle, according to this book, if it's supposed to be the eagle, according to this book, then why on the internet is just giving us the Thunderbird then? Well, I guess our new chapter that we're going through right now, it tells us exactly that. It's the Thunderbird. It's the great spirit of the Thunderbird. And the Thunderbird is, I mean, when we jump right back to our Greek roots, who does that represent? If the Thunderbird isn't the Thunderbird, then it's the eagle in our Greek mythology. Who does the eagle represent in our Greek mythology? Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly, I've just recently been hearing this. Apparently, when you say, praise Jesus, you're actually saying praise Hail Zeus. Apparently, Jesus means Hail Zeus.
Well, you know, Jesus in Spanish means Jesus.
Oh, how you spell it, how you say it is Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, back to the Great Seal. Enough about Jesus.
I'm just gonna shut up now.
Enough about Jesus. Anyway, let's talk about the great symbols. In the accompanying drawings, the head of the bird, as it appears on the Great Seal of 1782, is compared with the present form. It is immediate evidence that the bird on the original seal is not an eagle, nor even a wild turkey, as Franklin had hoped, but the phoenix, the ancient symbol of human aspiration toward universal good. The beak is of a different shape. The neck is much longer. The neck is much longer, and the small tuft of hair at the back of the head leaves no doubt as to the artist's intention. But if this design on the obverse side of the seal is stamped with the signature of the Order of the Quest, the design on the reverse is even more definitely related to the old mysteries. Here is represented the Great Pyramid of Giza, composed of 13 rows of
Where's that number again? 13.
13 rows of masonry. 13 rows of masonry showing 72 stones. The pyramid is without a capstone, and above its upper platform floats a triangle containing the all-seeing eye, surrounded by rays of light. This design was not pleasing to Professor Charles Eliot Norton of Harvard. He summed up his displeasure in the following words: "The device adopted by Congress is practically incapable of effective treatment. It can hardly, however, artistically
treated by the designer
look otherwise than as a dull emblem of a Mosaic fraternity. Masonic fraternity. The quotations from the history of the seal. Is from the history of the seal of the United States. If incapable of artistic treatment, the Great Seal is susceptible of profound interpretation. The Pyramid of Giza was believed by the ancient Egyptians to be the shrine tomb of the god Hermes, or Thoth, the personification of universal wisdom.
Emerald tablets! Let's go!
No trace has ever been found of the cap of the Great Pyramid. A flat platform about 30 feet square gives no indication this part of the structure was ever otherwise finished. And this is appropriate, as the pyramid represents human society itself, imperfect and incomplete. The structure, ascending, converging angles, and faces represent the common aspiration of humankind. Above floats a symbol of the SDOA orders, the radiant triangle with its all-seeing eye. The triangle itself is the shape of the Greek letter D, the delta.
Again, here we go. Back to the Greeks. Right back to the Greeks. Where, again, with, the triangle being D, delta. And that's really funny because when we go to the vape shop to go get, my incense and stuff and to go get vapes, well, when we used to go get vapes anyway, I would see that triangle for the Delta 8 or Delta 9 gummies. And I always wondered, why is that represented by a triangle? Now I know. It's the Greek symbol
the first letter,
the letter of D.
The delta, the first letter of the name of God. Or the letter D in One Piece. D.
Ah, the will of D in One Piece.
The divine part of nature completing the works of men.
Wait.
The first letter of the name of God. The divine part of nature completing the works of men. I'll continue.
So D. So if D is the first letter of God's name, then
you think about you're going back to this book and trying to reference the Dionysus.
Well, that would round. I mean, we all know, as we currently have confirmed in the book, not real. I mean, just in this book. In this book, it told us how the Dionysians, who were the Greek philosophers' secret societies, they took up the cloak of Islam supposedly, and if the first letter of God's name is D, then that means, according to the Freemasons, God is Dionysius, which is really funny in the Percy Jackson movie. They poke fun when Dionysius says, when he turns the glass of wine into a Diet Coke, and he's like, funny, the Christians got a guy that could do the opposite. So, yeah, I mean, that's just me putting two and two together. Or me just putting my 2 cents out there.
You're putting your 2 cents out there because that's just.
I mean, it is a little squirrely, but I mean, the context makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you also got to recognize though that they were just simply poking fun at something that's so similar. That's all that was.
I know.
You might be looking in a little bit too deep on that part.
Well, no, I'm just making the Christian and the Greek connection because here we are again where. Christian religious type kind of things, or as we have been taught, most Freemasons apparently are, supposedly Christians or Catholics or whatever. So, that traces it back, with putting the context of, Dionysius and Jesus. And some scholars that are not Bible theologians, but just historians, would argue that Jesus and Dionysius are the same person. Which is why I referred to that Percy Jackson movie quote where, Dionysius says, funny, this guy, the Christians got a guy that could do the opposite of what I could do.
Yeah, it was supposed to make it funny.
Yeah, it was supposed to make it funny, but, putting the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah,
the Greek roots to the everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, I think it was just fun. I don't think it was supposed to be points connected to it. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I think they legitimately just did it out there just for
just for a tee-hee.
No, it's for a tee-hee, and then have someone like you or me to really think too deep about it on something that really doesn't even need to be thinking too deep about it like that.
Well, I'm not trying to think too deep on it. I'm just saying. I'm making the reference.
You went on a whole 5-minute points of reference points on it.
Okay, fine. Get back to the reading. just read the book.
The 72 stones are the 72 arrangements of the Tetragrammaton.
Tetragrammaton.
Yeah,
Tetragrammaton.
Grammaton?
Tetragrammaton.
Tetragrammaton, or the 4-letter name of God in Hebrew. These 4 letters can be combined in 72 combinations, resulting in what is called the Shamham-Foresh.
Shamham-Foresh.
Shamham-Foresh. That means you got that Shamham-Foresh. It's extra fresh.
Shamham-Foresh.
Which represents, in turn, the laws, powers, and energies of nature by which the perfection of man is achieved. The pyramid then is the universal home, and above its unfinished apex is the radiant emblem of the great architect of the universe. There is a legend that in the lost Atlantis stood a great university in which oriented most of the arts and sciences of the present race. The university was not in the form of an immense pyramid, was in the form of an immense pyramid with many The university was in the form of an immense pyramid with many galleries and corridors, and on top of was an observatory for the studies of the stars. This temple to the sciences in the old Atlantis is shadowed forth in the seal of the new Atlantis. Was in the society of the unknown philosophers who sealed the new nation with the eternal emblems that all the nations might know the purpose for which the new country had been founded.
Going back to Francis Bacon and the new Atlantis and how America's the new Atlantis. Oh my goodness! Wow, I just kind of sounded like Woody Woodpecker right there.
Yeah, you did. You got a little bit too excited there.
I got a little too excited. Like, I'm just, oh my goodness! Ah!
The observe of the Great Seal has been used by the Department of State since 1782. But the reverse was not cut at that time because it was regarded as a symbol of a secret society and not the proper device for a foreign state. Quite rare are discoveries of the use of this symbol in any important form until recent years. Most American citizens learned for the first time what was designed on the reserve on their seal when it appeared on the dollar bill series in 1935. So this tells us that this was the very first time that the all-seeing eye on the pyramid on our $1 bill was forever shown. Like both our seals. You flip over your $1 bill, that it shows both our great seals, the all-seeing eye and then the eagle seal. And not Americans didn't know that we had that seal or the significance behind that seal in 1935. So as far as
we still don't know to this day. 90 years later, like it's about to be 2025. Let's just go ahead and round it to 90, okay? Let's not pick straws over this.
So far as anyone may know, the use of the seal in 1935 was probably without premeditation or special implication. But it is interesting that its appearance should coincide with great changes affecting democracy in all parts of the world. As early as 1935, the long shadows of a world tyranny has extended themselves across the surface of the globe. Democracy was on the threshold of its most severe testing. The rights of men, which Thomas Paine defended, were being assailed on every hand by selfishness, ambition, and tyranny. Then on the common median of our currency appeared the eternal emblem of our purpose. The combination of the phoenix, the pyramid, and the all-seeing eye is more than chance or coincidence. There's nothing about the early struggles of the colonists to suggest such a selection to farmers, shopkeepers, and country gentlemen. There is only one possible origin for these symbols, and that is the secret societies which came to this country 150 years before the Revolutionary War. Not built it. They were here 150 years before the Revolutionary War. Because
let it lay down the foundations for our country.
Like Manly P. Hall said, how do farmers, country gentlemen, and workshopsmen shopkeepers know about these symbols? They don't. They wouldn't. It would be people that were on that country 150 years before the Revolutionary War started.
So people like Francis Bacon.
Most of the patriots who achieved American independence belonged to these societies and derived their inspiration, courage, and high purpose from the ancient teachings. There can be no question that the Great Seal was directly inspired by these orders of the human quest, and that it set forth the purpose for this nation as that purpose was seen and known to the founding fathers. The monogram of the New Atlantis revealed this continent as set apart for the accomplishment of the great work. Here is to arise the pyramid of human aspiration, the school of the secret sciences. Over this nation rules the supreme king, the ever-living God, This nation is dedicated to the fulfillment of the divine will. To the degree that men realize this and dedicate themselves and their works to this purpose, their land will flourish. To deprive from the symbol of this high destiny is to be false to the great trust given as a priceless inheritance. And that's it for this chapter.
Wow. Our next chapter, chapter 19, The Prophetic Dream of General McClellan. That will be the chapter that I will be reading. This was a very fantastic chapter. Like, wow. This brings us right back to our Egyptian roots and our Greek roots, and, like, it digs further into the Freemasonry, the Order of the Quest, the secret societies, like how America's foundations were built, you know, before our fathers, you know, signed the Declaration of Independence and had the Revolutionary War, which that's what I was trying to say there, was that, yeah, these people were here 150 years before our Revolutionary War, but they were here making the foundations for our forefathers to do that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so they laid down the foundations that helped build America. Which America is built by secret societies, and if, you know, there's 13 bricks on the pyramid, then, you know, we have to probably assume that it was 13 secret societies that started and built America and may still potentially run America today. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's just the pattern that I'm recognizing here, according to this book, anyway. Because I don't do any of that online conspiracy stuff. That's just overrated. I like sticking to my books, honestly.
Yep. But remember, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
And thank y'all for all the support and all the continuing support. And for those of you that are new here, if you made it this far, please hit that like and hit that notification bell.
And
so
share. Is that way?
Share. Hit the like button. Get us going in the algorithm. We are still being shadow banned on YouTube. Facebook has not hit us with another restriction yet, but we're expecting one to come.
Sooner or later.
So please share. Get us out there. Let's all learn together. And please post questions in the comments below.
Yes.
We see a bunch of, you know, marketing people down there in the comments, but we don't see any of our, you know, our viewers. We don't see any of your questions. We want questions, please. Give us something to do during the week when we're not making reels or learning how to do more stuff to bring more content to you guys. So please put questions down. Please like and share. And follow, subscribe to our Rumble and our YouTube channel. And send a friend request to our Facebook Friends page. And also follow our High Consciousness page. That is the buddy page of our Friends of High Consciousness page. So send us a friend request, because we can't send friend requests to everybody because we don't know you through the Facebook algorithm. So you'll just have to send us one if you want to be a part of the Friends of High Consciousness. So again, thank y'all so much for the support, and always remember to live life with eyes wide open. Thank y'all.